Hi everyone. So today we are moving on to a new unit. We finished fractions, we finished multiplying and dividing them, and we're going to move into geometry. So today we're going to talk about polygons. We're going to be able to classify them by the end of the day. So go ahead and find your notebook, go to a blank page, and title it Polygons. All right, we're going to make a few charts today. We're going to learn a few definitions. So the first definition is, what is a polygon? A polygon is a closed figure made up of line segments that do not cross. So line segments, and these are straight line segments, no curves, right? They can't cross each other. It's closed figure, so it can't be open. So we're going to draw some examples of what are polygons and some examples of what are not polygons. So go ahead and draw two boxes, pretty big. Label one polygons. Draw another box. And we're going to put non-polygons. Okay, so if we're going to put it in this category, it needs to have straight lines, because maybe it's line segments. That would be like this. Line segment. It has to be closed, so it can't have any openings to the shape. And these lines cannot cross each other. So an example of a polygon is like a square. Got line segments that are straight, and it's closed. There's no opening to get into the square. And none of the lines cross each other. Now they can meet each other, like at the corners here, but they can't cross each other like this. All right. So an example of a non-polygon or not polygon that is open, it's not closed, would be something like this. That is not a polygon, because this corner right here is just open. Right? So that's not a polygon. Another example of one that's not a polygon is like an oval or a circle. Notice it says line segments, that's just one line, and it curves, so it doesn't work. Another example of a polygon would be like a triangle, something like that, and that's more straight. That would be a polygon. It's closed, it's made of line segments, 3 of them in this case, and none of the lines cross each other. Another example of a polygon, something that's not a polygon, something like this. Right? That one's closed. It's made up of line segments, but they cross each other right here, so that one's not a polygon. To me, it looks like a couple polygons put together and touch up the tip. That's not a polygon. You can also have polygons that do something like this, right? They're allowed to be like concave like that, because it's still made up of line segments, it's still closed, and they don't cross. But it can go in like that, so that could be a polygon. Another example of something that cannot be a polygon is something like this. It's got wavy lines in there, not a polygon. Another example of polygon is just that. Doesn't have to be any familiar shape necessarily, right? It just has to have straight lines. Pretend that's a little bit straighter. Has those straight lines, has to be closed in, and the lines cannot cross. All right? So one more example of a not a polygon would be something like this. It's got this line that sticks out like that. So it almost has like this open side over here. So it's not a polygon. All right. We're going to move on to talk about what a regular polygon is and what an irregular polygon is. So our second definition is a regular polygon. So a regular polygon, it has to be a polygon that has to fit in this category, but it's not all of them. Okay, it's only some of them. So a regular polygon is a polygon with congruent sides and congruent angles. We'll talk about what that means. We'll write it down first. A regular polygon is a polygon congruent, that means equal. Congruent sides and congruent angles. So what that means is they have the same length sides and they have the same measure angles. So if we look at some of these that we made, I only see one regular polygon out of these polygons that we made. And that would be the square. Because the square has the same length sides. Each side is the same in the square. Right? Whereas this one has a long one and a short one, a long one and a short one. This one's shorter than that one. So they don't all have the same length sides. So none of those could be regular polygons. But they are still polygons. This one, however, does have all the same length sides as a square, and it has the same measure angles. Every one of these angles is a right angle, or 90 degrees. And so it also has the same measure angle. So that one is regular, the others wouldn't be. We are going to make another chart, a big chart, and it's going to have several different types of polygons by number of side. And then we're going to draw a regular one and the irregular one, so we kind of get the feel for what regular and irregular polygons are. So, all of this, you can just go farther down your page, draw a big chart, probably at least half of the page worth. Right, so you need 4 columns. You can split it in half and half again. You need a little skinny row at the top, and then you need 5 rows after that. All right, something like this. In the top, we're going to put polygon, number of sides, regular, irregular. Okay, we're going to start with a triangle. That's what we're going to write here. The number of sides on a triangle, you should know, 3. A regular triangle, remember, needs the same length sides and the same measure angle. So it should look something like that. They all have about the same size angle, and they all have about the same length. We're drawing it so it doesn't have to be perfect. But a regular one will have exactly the same length sides and exactly the same measure angle. Irregular can be something like an obtuse triangle. If you forgot what obtuse triangles, we'll talk about that later. But see, this angle is way bigger than these little angles, and that one side is way longer than the other ones. That one's irregular, but still triangular. Okay, next we're going to talk about quadrilaterals. Right, quadrilateral is a four-sided polygon. Quad means four. Tri means three. Alright, so this is four-sided, and so a regular, as we talked about already, would be a square. Same side, same length sides, and same measure angles. Congruent sides, congruent angles. Irregular could be like a rectangle, or it could be something like this. Right, those angles are different, and the side lengths are different, so it's irregular. Next, we're going to do a pentagon. We got the pent, which means five, so it's five-sided shape. A regular has all the same length sides and all the same measure angles. So it would look something like that. Irregular, its sides are different, its angles are different, looks something like a house. It could be any shape. Any shape that's five sides is closed. But that one is an example of an irregular. There's always only one regular of each shape, but there's like an infinite amount of ways you can draw the irregular. All right, next we're going to do a hexagon. So it's six-sided. And so that one's going to look like the regular one. Try your best to draw all those sides the same length and all those angles the same measure. That's probably not perfect, but it's going to look something similar to that. Irregular, just like anything that has six sides, it could look like this. Definitely not the same measure angles, so this one goes all the way around. All right, finally we're going to do an octagon. So we're going to skip 7. This one has 8 sides. Oct means 8. All right, and then that one would look like a stop sign. It's not very regular, but pretend it's a little bit more regular. That one should have all the same sides and all the same size angles. Irregular is just anything that has 8 sides. That does not have the same size angles or does not have the same size length. Now, irregular can have one and not the other, such as a rectangle. The rectangle has all the same angles, but since the side lengths are not all the same, it's irregular. So as long as, even if it just doesn't meet one of those things, it's not regular. Again, there's only one way to draw the regular of each shape. All right, so you guys have a slide on Google Classroom where you're going to be classifying some polygons by dragging them into groups. So go ahead and work through that, and then you're done for the week.